The tongue of a blue whale can weigh as much as an elephant.
Weird and bizarre facts.
In the early 1900s, a man named Carl Tanzler fell in love with a woman named Elena Hoyos. She died of tuberculosis. But Tanzler was so obsessed with her that he stole her body from the cemetery and lived with it in his home for 7 years. In 1978, Georgy Markov, a Bulgarian dissident writer, was assassinated in London when he was stabbed in the thigh with an umbrella. The umbrella tip contained a small pellet filled with ricin, a deadly poison. Markov died 3 days later and the murderer was never caught. The longest case of hiccups on record lasted for 68 years. Charles Osborne, an American man, started hiccuping in 1922 and didn't stop until February 1990. Although his hiccups slowed down in later years, it's estimated that he hiccuped over 430 million times in his lifetime. Guinea pigs have a unique feature of their own, which is their teeth. Unlike humans, their teeth never stop growing, and they have to constantly gnaw on things to wear them down. They also have limited sight, as they can only see in shades of blue and green. Alligators can climb trees, while it's not a common sight. Alligators have been spotted climbing trees to bask in the sun or escape potential predators. Researchers have found that the alligators use their powerful tails to propel themselves up the trunk, making them one of the few reptile species that can climb this way. Hey friends! Did you know that hamsters can run up to 8 miles a night on their hamster wheel? And they have internal cheek pouches which they use to store food for later. These little critters are full of surprises. Who knew? Did you know that hamsters have expandable cheek pouches? These pouches are used to store food, which they can carry back to their burrows and eat later. In fact, some hamsters are able to store up to half their body weight in their cheek pouches. The longest time between two twins being born is 87 days. This occurred when one twin was born prematurely at 22 weeks, and the other was delivered nearly 3 months later. Things that are bigger than you think. Star-nosed mole is another bizarre creature that has evolved to survive in harsh environments. This mole has a bizarre star-shaped nose that it uses to detect prey in the dark. The mole's nose has 20 fleshy tentacles that are covered in tiny sensory receptors. This combination of touch and smell makes the star-nosed mole one of the most efficient hunters in the animal kingdom. These and many other bizarre animal facts remind us of the diversity and complexity of the natural world. Fugu, a Japanese delicacy made from pufferfish. The liver and ovaries of this fish contain a potent neurotoxin that can cause paralysis, coma, and even death. Only licensed chefs are allowed to prepare this dish, and even they need years of training to master the art of removing the toxic parts. Nutmeg, a common spice found in many households, can also be fatal if ingested in large quantities. Nutmeg contains a compound called myristicin, which can cause hallucinations, seizures, and, in extreme cases, death. While the spice is safe to use in moderation, the tardigrade, also known as a water bear, is a microscopic animal that can survive extreme conditions, including radiation, freezing, and boiling temperatures. The platypus is one of the only mammals that lays eggs. Instead of giving live birth, they also have venomous spurs on their hind legs.